Next up, we have AFC Adam. He kind of came last minute. He contacted me about it. And I was like, wow, the world's like third best PUA wants to speak at my event. Let me see what I can do, man. Give me like 5 minutes, you know? Just kind of quick, I let him on here. Wasn't able to give him much time, but I rearranged his schedule like today and traded spots with Mihab for him. Mihab had flight problems, and he's taking his spot now. It's day 2. It's the end of the day, and he's got some sick stuff for you guys. World's third best PUA right here. Good stuff, man. Thanks for coming.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers, guys. Ow! Cheers. Wow, guys. Okay, where do we start? I'm basically here because I've never been to Orlando before, and I love Miami like you wouldn't believe. Like Miami, like I absolutely love the place. I've got some great friends. Thank you. Who's from Miami here? Everyone raise your hand if from Miami. Okay. I love Miami, and I wanted to come and see Orlando, and I heard that this convention was going on, and I was pretty sure that most of the people that turn up here wouldn't actually tailor anything for people that are actually under 21. So I thought I'd come up with a whole bunch of stuff tailored specifically for you guys. But first of all, I want to check how many of you are actually under 21. If you're over 21, raise your hand. There we go. Wow. Awesome, huh? How cool is that? This is one of the things that you guys are going to realize, and it's about observation, right? And this is something that a lot of people make mistakes about in set. They don't take the time to bother to work out what they're doing. Imagine if I'd actually sat down and wrote a whole bunch of new material specifically for under 21s, brought it along here, and then found out that everybody's over it actually anyway. And you guys are all quiet. I love it when Sin said, how many of you guys have, before game when you were going out to bars, and everyone's like, oh yeah, and he goes, oh, obviously you guys are too young, you couldn't have done that. You're like, well, actually, no, I can do that. I'm old enough. So here you go. So most of you aren't under 21. Very interesting. Okay. Where's my man? There he is. That guy there. No, not behind you. You. Yeah, there we go. He asked me how I got into the game and sort of like what process I went through. So I'm going to do a bit of a different introduction. I'm actually going to take you guys through a little bit of my journey about how I started. But I'm going to start in the middle. I don't know what level you guys are at. I don't know where you are, and I don't know if you've decided that you're just on your first legs of the game and you're going to become amazing, or whether you've been in it for a while and now you're just trying to improve. I'm going to warn you about the game. The game is a very, very dangerous hobby to have. It's a very dangerous hobby in a number of ways. A lot of people have spoken about you can lose your friends. You really can. When you realize your friends don't know the difference between amogging and just being pally and winging you, you're like, dude, you've known me for 15 years and you've got to amog me? He's like, what the fuck is an amog? Like, I just asked if you wanted to come and play football tomorrow. Yeah, and you're like, no, but you killed my set. It's not the time to isolate. And and you kill your normal friendships. But there are worse things that can happen to you. And I'm not kidding. I've sat at the back, and today was heavy, man. You guys have done some serious listening to all these speakers. And even me, at some points, I just sort of like, oh, the voices just go on and on. So I thought I'd break it up a bit, and I thought I'd give you a bit of a story. It's a true story that happened to me. I swear to God, you can't make this stuff up. There was a choice of 2 stories. One of them I told all my friends earlier. We decided that one's not the one to go with because it involves... Anyway. It's bad. It's really bad. There isn't even a field report about that one because it's that bad. And there isn't a field report about this one, but I thought this one was a bit more socially acceptable. So, barely. So I'm in a club, and my game's got to a level where I'm very comfortable. I can open who I want. I've got a pretty good close rate. And there's about 6 girls in the club that I've been gaming. And I actually decide, you know what? I don't want to close anybody. There's no one here at the kind of level that I want to take home. There's no 10s here that aren't with anybody. I'm going to go home. So I go to leave the club. As I'm leaving the club, straight up, there's like a 7.5, maybe 8, turns around to me. She's dancing in front of me, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm trying to get past. And she moves and starts dancing in front of me again. I'm like, oh, so I think you misunderstood me. Excuse me, I'm trying to get past. And she goes, no, but... And I'm like, okay, excuse me. And anyway, eventually she gets in front of me. She grabs my hands and puts them on her breasts. And she's like, but... And they're fake. Like, these are fake tits. Like, there's 2 of them, right? And they feel bloody good. And I think about this, and I start analyzing like all the different methods. I'm like, oh, I wonder what state. Fuck that. I was like, I live 3 minutes away. And the girl's like, okay, let me grab my friend. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? So she grabs her hot friend, who's like a hot 6, whatever. She grabs her hot... there's 2 of them, it counts. So she grabs her... She was a little bit... Anyway, so he grabs her friend, and off we run. And I'm now pegging it out of the club, right? I've got these two girls. One's got fake tits and she's all right, and the other one. So we get upstairs. We get out of the club. I'm leaving the club, and the owner of the club looks at me and he goes, "You going home early tonight?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." And so we leave. We get a cab. And now threesomes are all about logistics. So I hail the first cab I can, whip out 20 quid, which is like $40 for like a 2-minute cab ride. It's worth it. I'm getting a threesome. And so pay for the cab, and we're in the cab, the three of us together, and the girls start making out. I have known these girls for about 4.5 minutes, and they're totally making out, and I'm like, this is going to happen. This is it. This is my threesome. Anyway, so we get back to my place. Now, a couple of things have transpired here. It turns out they're both a little bit drunk. Anyone that is like, no, really? They were drunk? No, it's kind of obvious, yeah? If that happens, they're probably drunk. Whatever. I wasn't going to let that stop my fun. So sometimes when you make a decision when you're not going to take an HB10 home, all you're looking for is a personal masturbating machine, and I had two. So we get back to my place. We start walking in the door, and HB Ugg throws up on my doorstep. I've got both of their hands. I think about it. I do a quick calculation, cut my losses, drop HB6, and take the other one into the room. Sod the threesome. I'm still getting laid. She's got nice fake tits. So we get into the bedroom. And then the weirdest thing happens. Now, this is a warning for all those that want to get into game. This stuff can happen to you. She says, "Hit me." And I'm like, "No." She goes, do it, rape me." And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Don't be a pussy." I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, where does low-value male equals have to rape girl? Like, no. I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do it. You're not getting raped." And she goes, "You're a pussy." And she punches me in the face. I'm like, "Oh, bloody hell, woman, ow! Twice that you get, ow!" And I pin her down. I go, "Don't do it." She goes, "That's it, rape me." "No, I'm not raping you." She punches me in the face again. So I'm torn between getting punched in the face and pinning her down. And she's, "You're raping me." "No, I'm not." Ow. The other girl, she's thrown up in the front room. Now, just when things get bad, I'm like, "All right, fine. I'm not going to rape you." So I turn her on her front so her hands are down. That way she can't punch me. This was a genius idea. Everyone's like, why was doggy style invented? Why was that the old way? So their hands and feet are occupied. Anyway, so she's pinned down. I'm taking her from behind. And at this point, I'm just like, I just want the whole thing to be over and done with. And suddenly you think about all that tantric sets and all that David Shade stuff you guys have been studying to last for ages. It doesn't work when you want a quickie. There I am trying to get it done within 2 minutes. It's taking ages. Anyway, and then my doorbell rings. And I'm like, this can't get any worse. So I'm like, "It's open." My flatmate walks in. Flatmate walks in. She's drunk on the floor. And he goes, "Dude, who's the girl?" "Mate, I'm kind of busy. What are you doing?" "Shut the door!" So anyway, finish off the job, go outside. Kid you not, we fall asleep. The next day, we wake up in the morning. The girl gets up, she's getting dressed, she's got a really nice body, and she's wandering around. And I say to her, "Tell me my name." And she looks at me and she goes, I'm like, "Tell me my name." And she goes, "You know I can't do that." I was like, wicked. Bad. It was the first time I'd slept with a girl that I didn't know her name. But that stuff's scary, man. That stuff's happening in field now. There are guys out there in the field dying and getting beaten up. For you guys to learn this stuff. They do this for you, man. They lay their lives on the line. There's some scary things out there. My point is, okay, so you guys aren't under 21, but my point is, maybe you don't want to get into the game. Okay, let's give you a bit of an introduction. I just wanted to warm you guys up beforehand, give you a bit of just true stories of lifestyles of AFC Adam back in the day. All right, before we go on, who here would think of themselves as a geek? Raise your hand. A geek. There's only a few of you. Let me give you some definitions. Do you guys know the difference between a nerd, a geek, and a dweeb? No. All right, I'll give you one. I checked it out on Urban Dictionary, so it's probably right. A dweeb is somebody who's a complete no-hoper, doesn't do anything, chills out indoors, doesn't really have any aspirations, doesn't try hard at all. It's a dweeb. A nerd is somebody who gets completely absorbed in something. They like analyze every single little bit of it. They want to know all of the information in order to help them achieve something. However, it is always in a subject that will ultimately have direct financial gain. Web design, mathematics, physics, they're nerds. You know what a geek is? A geek is someone that does exactly the same as the nerd, except for something that has no financial gain. For example, video games, Dungeons and Dragons, and game. So, who here thinks they're a geek? Raise your hand. Everyone else, you've come to a convention of pickup artists. You're here studying how to get laid. That's not really going to help you in life. It really isn't. It's not going to help you get rich unless you're planning on becoming a pickup artist. This is the fact of the matter. Whereas there are 60 or 70 people in this room, myself included, I'm proud to admit I'm a geek. I'm geekier than probably anyone else here. If you guys don't know why when you're rolling a character's stats, you have to roll 46 and remove the lowest number, then you really are well behind me. That's a basic fact. The truth of the matter is that you guys, you've all come here to try and learn this skill. And although there's 60 or 70 of you here, there are billions getting laid without the help here. Absolutely without it. You don't need the systems. You don't need anything. And I'm the biggest geek because I'm sitting there trying to analyze it. And like we're talking to Sin and we break stuff down together and like we're talking about all the different methods. You guys have heard break rapport and you all analyze and like what's it all about. But the truth is, there is a way you can do this without even knowing a system. You do not need to do that. None of you need to. Did you know some people get so geeky at this, they wander around in goggles and they ask girls who lies more and like other strange routines. And they learn magic tricks and stuff, you know? That's really weird, man. Can you imagine if I told you before you learned the game, listen, I can help you get good. All you have to do is wear a pair of swimming goggles, a top hat, and go out there and ask girls who lies more, guys or girls. That's all you have to do, but do it at a 45-degree angle. If you do that, you will get almost any girl, as long as they're not hot. Yeah. Yeah, like you guys would not believe it. You'd be like, shut up. You got to be confident. True story. Amanda went out to the bar earlier on. This guy is talking. He goes, so what's all the convention thing going on? She goes, oh, you know, it's about guys and learning about relationships and how to get chicks. She goes, we've got to do is be confident. I have a Jaguar. Yeah, right. You get laid. There is a truth to it. You can learn all the ins and outs if you want. If you want to be a geek like me and like all the other PUAs here, you can get into the ins and outs of it. I can tell you some random facts. I could literally break down qualification because I'm that sad. And I could go through the point and explain to you not just what qualification is or how it works, but how to micro-calibrate every single individual piece of qualification. But would you really want that? Yeah. Okay, this guy does. This guy is yes. All right, in that case, when it comes to the question, if you ask me, I'll break down how you can make somebody qualify themselves and the pattern you can use to ensure they follow it. However, there is a way of getting laid that's easier, that doesn't need any of that. And anyone here that's under 21, anyone here that's at that young age, now is the perfect time. Now is like, it's the great time to do this. Sin made a point of saying, don't get into it. Don't do it. You don't have to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you 3 qualities. This isn't a 3-part model. This is just a fact that there are 3 qualities that naturals have. If you guys can emulate these 3 qualities, I promise you, your success rate will go up. You will probably not be F-closing Angelina Jolie within the next 2 weeks. It's not that good. But it will make you a natural. I kid you not. This is a very simple system that will make you a natural. Where's the catch, everyone says? If it was that easy, why doesn't everyone do it? It's because there is effort that needs to be put into place. But the effort isn't sitting down in front of a forum, reading specific lines or creating routine stacks. The effort comes from actually creating these 3 parts to your life and ensuring you have them. I got this through studying every single bloody natural that has hit on my girlfriend over the last year and a half. Every single one has these qualities. And I didn't analyze it, she did. And she went, you know what, they've all got this in common. So we started looking at it. And every natural I've ever met has these things. So what are they? Well, you'd be right if you guessed that confidence was on the list. It bloody well is. You need confidence. If you don't have confidence, you have no hope. You need confidence. What else do you need? You need abundance. You need women in your life. Guess what? Going out and sarging with groups and guys in clubs is weird. Really weird. When 4 guys turn up, I kid you not, I went out to I haven't been out on sarges for a very long time. I've got a rule. If you want to come sarging with me, you bring 5 to 10 girls or you're not allowed to come. It's a very strict rule that I have, right? A lot of people are well aware of this rule. When I first came out in the community, I said it, and everyone went, "Oh, that's impossible." I went, "Really?" And I showed video footage of myself out with 120 women that came out with me. It's very, very easy if you're good and you know what you're doing. And most people aren't that good. And I'm like, if you're not going to bring any girls, why should I let you come out with me? Because you're going to hit on my girls. They're mine. Bring your own. Bring your own, and then we'll trade. It's kind of like Pokemon, but you don't have to catch them all. You just have a few. All right. So they've got to bring some girls with them, otherwise they can't do it. And they're like, "No, but that's, I just wanted to come sergeant with you." I'm like, "Well, yeah, you've got to bring girls to come sergeant." And they're like, "Well, no, really, I just wanted to learn from you." I went, "Do you have any students ask me that?" And that's why I tell you, you've got to bring out 5. If you can bring out 5 to 10 girls, it shows me you've got enough of the pieces in place that on that one night alone, I'll show you how to finish the rest of the game, and you'll have completed it. But most PUAs struggle to just get like the first 5 or 10. Abundance is incredibly important. Oh, sorry, I completely digress. So I went out sergeant for the first time in a very long time. Me and my girlfriend were in town. We had a friend over, and we thought, we'll just hang out. And these 4 PUAs turned up to come and join us. These are great guys. I don't want to insult any of them. One of them, I think, is really up there with probably will have a very good game within a year or so. He's that kind of level. In fact, he's exactly where Syke was when I first met him. Syke, he's going to be very good. Everyone, look at this man here with the blue hair. I kid you not. That guy within a year, he's going to be amazing. I'm making a point. I'm calling it out. So, now, the other guy that was there, he was a short guy, and he was quite friendly and chatty, and he was going around, and he was opening sets, and he wasn't really doing very good, and he went up to me, and he went, I'm having difficulty hooking. I was wondering what you think my problem might be. And I went, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and it might be something to do with the plastic penis you have stuck behind your ear. I kid you not. He had a plastic penis behind his ear. That was his peacocking. A penis. A penis behind his ear. He thought his problem was tonality. I'm like, dude. He goes, every time a girl talks to me, she just sort of like looks off to the left. She's looking behind your ear. And this is the serious problem. And he wonders why girls don't want to hang out with him. When was the last time you met a girl and you said, "Hey, do you want to come and hang out with me? I've got a penis behind my ear." And you know where he got the idea from? He watched Style Life and he saw the penis on the head thing and thought it would help him beat a natural. Like, now there's an argument for if you have good game and you have a penis on your head, you could probably beat a natural. But that isn't the best way of doing it. So abundance, you've got to have girls in your life. You've got to be seen to hang out with them. Because if girls see 4 dudes walk in a club, what do you think they're thinking? Oh, there's 4 guys that have just come out to have a couple of quiet drinks by themselves and chat to themselves and not socialize with women. And they've left all their wives at home and they're coming out for a lads' night out and have no intention of pulling anyone. No, they think there's 4 guys out on the pull. Which one's the most desperate? That's what they're thinking. You rock up to a club on your own with 10 women behind you. 1 dude, 10 women. Do you think there is a single person in that club that doesn't look at you and think, "Lucky bastard"? Whether you are banging them or not, they all think you are. Every girl's looking at you thinking, "He's so ugly, why do they like him? He must be somebody special." They all want you. How easy is that? Abundance. Second most powerful quality. And the third, the ability to sexually escalate. Let's talk about these qualities and imagine we only have 2 of them at any point, and I'll show you the different types of person. First, we have the person who has abundance and he has confidence, but he doesn't have the ability to sexually escalate. This is the student that turns up to a boot camp and says, "But I've got loads of female friends and I can't do anything about it. They don't like me." No, because they're so comfortable with you because you never sexually escalate. You never tell them you like them. And it's gone on so long that now they don't want to ruin the friendship. So you have so many girls in your life, you're confident and bubbly and the girls love you, they think you're gay. They're talking about it amongst themselves. "Oh, I love him, he's gay, but he's great. We should hook him up with this guy." Like, that's why you're not sexually escalating. They think there's something wrong with you. They're female. They expect you to hit on them. They're almost disappointed if you don't. All right, let's take another quality. Let's remove a different one. Let's remove abundance in this case. Let's just have confidence and the ability to sexually escalate. That's a PUA right there. I'm alpha me. Yeah, baby, come up here. Run the train. Yeah, I'm drunk. Oh, just kiss me. Ah. RSD, baby. And that doesn't work. It doesn't work because the girl looks at you and thinks, you're hitting on me. And you've got no other women around you. I know why. And none of the others want to come and join you. So that doesn't work. All right? What if you have the ability to sexually escalate and abundance, but you don't have confidence? Well, in this situation, you've got a whole bunch of female friends, and when you get them alone, you're capable of sexually escalating. So you get the Uggs. You get the scum from the bottom of the pool of friends. You like take out the toddlers and all the weak ones, you know. But all the big, beautiful girls you can't close. And they're the three types of guys that you get. You've got one of these problems. Maybe two of them. Maybe three of them. If you've got three problems, you've got World of Warcraft. And, you know, you've probably got a level 70 character. So I'm not going to mess because you might come after my warlock. Now, the simple fact of the matter is, if you can develop these three qualities, you will get laid. Think about it. What guy who's confident and surrounded by lots of women with the ability to sexually escalate won't get laid? Well, obviously he can. Obviously he can. So how do you guys go about getting that? So I'm going to focus on teaching you these three things today. But this is all irrelevant if you guys don't go out there and do it. If you just listen to me, it's pointless. You may as well go to a World of Warcraft convention and learn how to up your character a few more points. Because that's, you know, you're going to get more out of that, to be fair. Before you guys start writing down any notes, I've done some very nice things for you, because I'm used to these conventions and I like going to them. I'm not going to try and sell you guys anything. I'm really not interested in it. I'm much more interested in helping you guys get good. That's why I'm very lucky. The company I work with are very good at what they do, because it means that when I get to come out here, I get to give you guys free stuff. If you guys go to PUAtraining.com/under21.html, there is a whole bunch of free stuff there, especially for everyone here at the convention. You can just download it all for free. That's the PUA Training guys set that up for you guys, the guys that I'm doing the boot camps with at the moment. PUAtraining.com/under21.html. If you guys go there, there should be a whole bunch of stuff. If it doesn't work today, it'll work within the next 48 hours, but it should be there now. And that's all there for you guys. There's a whole bunch of just different material. There'll be a lot of notes about the stuff that I normally talk about and some other stuff. We just threw it all in there just for you guys to have. If you guys are interested in any of the stuff that I do, you can check out afcadam.com and you can see a whole load of crap about me. It really is crap. But, you know, I like writing waffle. So now let's talk about these three qualities. Let's talk about how you can have all of them. Let's talk about confidence. The good news with confidence is there's a whole bunch of hypnosis CDs you can buy. And they're only like $700 or whatever. And you can watch them. And they will guarantee to get you over your fear of the approach. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Let's take it back to a normal situation, because I like trying to keep things a bit normal. So let's go back to normal, and let's think about the last time you weren't very confident. You know what I'm having to learn to do at the moment? Is to drive on the wrong side of the road, which is the right side of the road as far as you guys are concerned. It's the wrong bloody side, let me tell you. Especially when you've got some guy trying to cut you up, and you're like, wait, move out the way. And he's like, you're on the wrong side of the road. And I'm like, not in my country, I'm not. You're not in your country, damn it. So, and I'm trying to learn this from scratch. And I kid you not, it's bloody scary. And I have a confidence issue over this. I'm not very comfortable doing it. Do you guys all remember the first time you learned to drive? Raise your hand. Yes, good. And raise your hand if you didn't completely crap yourself the first time you started the car. There we go, good. A couple of people. You guys are superhuman. I don't know why you're at the boot camp. Anyway, truthfully, I crapped myself. I was so scared, right? I remember I was sitting there, I was sitting there like this, and I was like, person next to me is like, are you okay? I'm like, don't talk to me, I'm concentrating. And he goes, the car hasn't started yet. All right. I was just crapping myself, I was scared. So what I did, obviously, is because I had this fear of the approach of driving, because I had this weakness, this lack of confidence, I bought a $700 CD and a couple of audio programs and went to a couple of seminars on how to remove my car anxiety. Obviously, I didn't. Instead, what I did is just did it. Because if you want to conquer a fear, the best way of doing it is to actually get out there and do it. Now, there's a psychological tool called systematic desensitization. What that means is, rather than just going and doing it, you do it in a small way first. So if you have a fear of approaching, start by talking to shop people. They have to be nice. If they don't, they get fired. Talk to them. Then talk to old hot women. By old hot women, I mean 60 and 80. They were hot once, and they remember what it's like. But now no one hits on them anymore. So now they're really friendly and approachable. It's the same as sort of like getting past that first stage of game with an HP8. You know, or it's the same kind of thing. So get talking to them. They're really friendly. And open them. And then after a while, just start building it down, and eventually you'll be able to get to your type of girl. You just got to do it slowly. But if you're not doing it, there is nothing out there that's going to help you. Nothing. I kid you not. Everything out there is a con or a scam to get you to part with your money so they can try and sell you something. I'm giving this to you completely for free, and I promise you it works because it's proven time and time again by everybody else out there that's done it. It's doing it that makes it change. So practice. Don't be like, I had a guy literally tell me, I don't have time to game. I'm like, I'm sorry, you don't mix with females? And he's like, well, no, I work all the time. You work 24/7 and don't have any females at your work? He goes, no, Adam, you don't understand. I'm like, what don't I understand? Females, coffee shops, car attendants, bars, co-workers, office next door, the local shop where you go in the middle of it, your local Chili's. Chili's is a great restaurant, by the way. They do a molten cake. It's incredible. The molten chocolate cake. Oh, man. Yeah, amen, amen. It is a good cake. It is a very saturated fat. It's true, but good saturated fat. Good saturated fat. I can't deny it. I haven't lost a set over eating a chocolate cake yet. It hasn't affected my ability. So it might do. But eat chocolate cake. It's good because it tastes good. It's not healthy. Anyway, I completely digress. But the point is, if you're not actually doing it, you're not going to improve. So do it. Stop coming up with excuses. Stop going to conventions. Next time you want to go for a convention for 4 days, just go and talk to a girl for half an hour, and you'll do better. And it's probably worth more money. Even if you have to pay her for a drink to talk to you, it's probably worth it to start off with. Start building up slowly. And then eventually, after you've done 10, and the girl says to you, hey, you're going to buy me a drink? You say, no, I bought the last 10 girls' drinks. I'm not going to buy you one. It's funny, you learn from your mistakes. Sin said it, it's a very good point. You learn from your mistakes. So the only way you're going to get over this confidence is to do it. Confidence comes from competence. The more you do it, the better you feel. I've got a friend that's scared of heights. This weekend, as we speak, he's going skydiving. Wow. Do you think he took a CD of approach anxiety to get over that? No, he just paid $400 and went, shit, if I don't go skydiving, I lose my $400. Like, do it. Force yourselves to do it. Get out there. The more you do it, I promise you, the easier it gets. Just talk to hot chicks. There's a chick at the back there. She's a friend of one of the guys here. Just open her. Like, just do it. Like, she'd love it, I'm sure. There you go. She's waving. Everyone got an IOI. That's an invitation. That's like an open invitation. There. One of you's in. By numbers alone, if she turns down like 1 in 20 guys, somebody's getting it. I'm kidding. I'm joking. But truthfully, open every single female. Like, you guys should be practicing all the time. It's important. Open my girlfriend as well. Run. It's literally, if you're not practicing talking to girls, you don't have to think of every set as you have to close them. I had this great thing. I got an email again today. This scares me. Ever since doing this TV show, The Rules of Seduction, I get credited with the Starbucks opener. I'm like, are you kidding me? Just because in the TV show, I was like walking down, I always just open with something casual. I was like, hey, do you know where the nearest Starbucks is? And I've had like 8 emails now being, Adam, your Starbucks opener, that's genius. That's absolutely genius. You're so good at this. Like, I've used that so often. I just don't know where do you transition from that? You're kidding me. Anyway, so the truth is, that's bloody scary. And I had this student, and I was like, all right, buddy, I want you to choose my Starbucks opener. Go over there, ask that girl where the nearest Starbucks opener is. He went, where the nearest Starbucks is. He's like, I can't do it. I'm like, why not? He goes, I've got approach anxiety. I'm like, are you kidding me? I want a coffee. You just ask her where Starbucks is. He's like, no, I can't, I just can't do it. I've got approach anxiety. I was like, let me ask you something. 2 years ago, before you learned the game, if you wanted a coffee, how would you find a Starbucks? He goes, well, I'd ask someone. So now it's game. Now you can't ask someone where a Starbucks is because you have to sleep with them. What? Just practice. Talk to people. Not every set is a close. It doesn't matter. No one's perfect. And no one's watching. No one knows. Just ask everybody where the nearest Starbucks is. It's good practice, getting to talk to people, transition from there and take it onwards. But just get into the habit of talking to people. I promise you, approach anxiety will vanish. Before I do a lot of high-pressure sets, a lot of very high-pressure sets. There's one I did for Maxim magazine recently. I kid you not, I don't know a single PUA that's ever had to go through this. I'm going to send it out on my list at some point soon. But it was, if you Google for AFC Adam versus Maxim, I think you can find it. And it was the most hard thing I've ever had to do. And before those sets, before I do any of them, I always do 5 warm-ups. And what I do is I go up to 5 random girls, and I give them a compliment and run. I run not because I think they're going to hit me, but because I don't want to hear what they have to say. I didn't open them because I wanted to open them. I opened them so I'd get into the zone of opening. So I don't really care about what they have to say. So I say, hey, I love your jacket. It's really nice. She's like, what? I'm sorry, man. Hey, I love your shoes. The way they work there, it's great. I say, what? It's fine. And so I do my 5. And after I've done 5, I'm like, oh, I can open anyone. Because you don't have to close if you open. Anyone can open. Opening is the easy bit. It's the next bit that's hard. So anyone that's like, oh, I've got approach anxiety, it's really tough. No, it isn't. Like, that's the easiest part. The hardest part is when you get slapped in the face. That's bloody hard. Or punched in the face. Rape me, get off, woman! Freak. Anyway. Okay, so pretty much that covers confidence. I'm not kidding. The more you talk to women, the more comfortable and confident you're going to be talking to them. In the end, you'll realize that they fart, shit, and poop like the rest of us, that they're actually not all that special, and you just get used to interacting with them. I've hung around with so many incredibly beautiful women that now I see what incredible beauty is. And incredible beauty is about 2 hours in front of a mirror. That's what it takes. You wake up next to them in the morning when they've got like their hairy legs, and after they've gone, and then they hold the covers down. You're like, why are you holding the covers down? And she's like, I'm a girl, I don't poop. That's weird. And stinky. Like, you don't, but that's what they're like. And the problem is these guys, they meet a girl, and they think they're so amazing because they've spent 2 hours making themselves all pretty and gorgeous. So the guy doesn't, he's like, oh, you're so amazing. Of course she's not going to close him. She doesn't want him to see her in the morning when she looks like crap. Because he's happy with her being amazing and beautiful. So she's like, okay, yeah, I am. I'm a goddess. That's right. I am. I'm great. That guy thinks I'm great. To herself, she doesn't want to lower her value or her self-esteem by letting you know that she actually looks like crap. And that's why negging works, because it shows that you understand that girls aren't super attractive all the time. That sometimes they get a bit manky. They do. What a girl really wants is to know that if she is a bit manky, that you'll still love her. That's really what she wants. That's why you can't go around idolizing girls. There's probably a load of other reasons that you've probably been taught. They're probably true as well. But I find this one's easier and quicker. So yeah, it works for me. So don't idolize them. There's no need. So at that point, when you get talking to them and you start realizing, you start to learn like the different things about them. Who here likes darker girls? Raise your hands if you like darker girls. Like Hispanics or African, like, yeah, more hands are raising. Okay. Did you know they're hairy? It's true. Very hairy. And did you know when they sweat, they stink? It's true. Just because they're darker, they tend to have hairier bodies. Who here likes blondes with like big breasts and stuff like that? They're not very clever. No, that's not true. That's not trying to get flayed for that. But he's like, it's the peroxide. No, but you know, but the point is, they've all got different issues. You know, most blondes are fake blondes. They have dyed hair. Every so often, they get roots and they look like skunks. Every so often, and they'll be like, I have to get my hair done. Do you know how long it takes, actually, for them to have their hair done? Do you have any idea? I have sat with a girl while she was having her hair dyed, and she didn't even have all her hair dyed. She had a strip. 8 hours. What? 8 hours. You think I got a pill? If she'd have told me that when I first met her, I wouldn't put up for that. I wouldn't sign up for that. I'd be like, I'm going to date you. 8 hours in a bloody hair shop. The point is, they've all got their different, and if they've got to do their whole hair blonde, that is a long time. You have to sit next to them and put up with their stories. You know, the point is that girls aren't perfect. And when you realize that, you can actually appreciate them for who they are. They're just like us. They just want to be loved. They just want to be told they're great. They just want to be accepted for exactly who they are without any airs or being told they're amazing. You know, that's it. So once you get over that, you'll have your confidence down. You'll be used to talking to women. You'll be used to mixing them. And then we can talk about the next point. Abundance. This is the one that PUAs mess up. Who here actively charges? Raise your hands. Actively goes out gaming. Raise your hands, keep them up for a second, okay? Now, I want you to put them down if, sorry, put them down if in the last year you haven't number closed 60 girls. I said a lot of people keep their hands up. Okay, cool. Everyone put your hands down because it just the smell. No, I'm kidding. the poor guy next to you, you're like this, and he's like, fuck, dude, we've been in the room all day, you got to... All right, so the truth is, you've got at least 60 phone numbers, okay? Now, I'm not going to make you guys talk about your level of skill, I just want you to be very honest with yourself. How many of those girls do you still talk to? Think about it. I know a lot of PUAs, if they can't F-close her, or day tour, the number just gets stored in the phone. And eventually, it becomes one of those numbers of, I've got 1,000 girls' phone numbers in my phone. All right. How many of them will pick up if you phone? Because that's the better question, isn't it? It doesn't matter how many numbers you've closed. What matters is, do they want to talk to you? Because if they don't, I don't care how many numbers you have. Check this. I have, at my prime, I had 4,000 phone numbers. How many of them were responsive? About 3,500, give or take, at one point. Now, I'm down to about 600 Facebook contacts that will respond. To test it, if you email any single one of those girls on my Facebook, they'll tell you how great I am. I'm not kidding. I'm not bragging, I'm putting it out there. How many other PUAs would be like, do it? I'm telling you now, do it. Feel free. Feel free to contact them and ask them. I promise you, whoever you ask on there, with the exception of maybe about 50 out of this, I've actually got 750 friends or something. I think there's about 50 that wouldn't. Most of the girls on there are just female friends of mine that will respond. It's my abundance. When I go back to London, if I write a message to all of those girls and say, I've decided I'm going clubbing on this day, who wants to come with me? I've seen over 250 girls turn up at the same time, just because I'm there. That's because when you message that many, they will all attend. I kid you not, on my birthday last year, I tested this. And I invited every single girl I know out to my birthday party. My 6 closest friends, I told I would be wearing a white suit with a red shirt and a white tie, and they had to wear red dresses. We went to dinner first. So I went to dinner with 6 girls, all hot, in red dresses. And then we went to a nightclub where another 250 girls were waiting to see me. And then we walked into the club. The club gave us free alcohol. Miss Brazilian UK. How do you do that, by the way? How can you have, like, Miss Brazil UK? We get that all the time. In England, we have that all the time. We go, Miss India UK. Like, that's so random. Like, they just make it up because it's like everyone wants to be beautiful, I'm sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, I rocked up at the club, and Miss Brazil UK came up to me because the competition was on at the same time, and she said, "Who are you?" And I went, "I'm Adam. Nice to meet you." And she's like, "You're famous, aren't you?" Now, in fairness, I had 6 gorgeous girls in red dresses following me wherever I went, and I was in a white suit with a red top hat. And I told her, I said, "No, I'm the cleaner, the toilet cleaner." And she went, "You're lying." I'm like, "No, they just really like me here. I'm really good. I'm like, always, I wash people's hands for them. Like, I'm good at my job." She goes, "You're lying. You're a celebrity. I know you are. I recognize you." I'm like, "Unless you go on YouTube, type in seduction, you probably don't." Anyway, the point is, that's my abundance. Now, how did I get the girls to want to speak to me? How did I get them to want to talk to me? This is going to come as a shock. I didn't try to sleep with them. I'm a PUA, actively admitting I didn't try and sleep with them. Do you know what happens when you turn around to 800 women and don't try to sleep with them but have them as your friend, and you have confidence and the ability to sexually escalate, and you sexually escalate with all of them? They will start thinking, this guy's a seducer, pickup artist guy. All these women are around him. I know he's sleeping with all of them. Why doesn't he want me? They will think that individually. It's great. Do you know what happens then? They'll try and sleep with you. As they'll try and sleep with you, they will notice that everyone else is trying to sleep with you, which cements the fact that you're probably sleeping with everybody. Even though you're not. Cheers. So even though you're not. And they will start fighting with you. And then all you've got to do is handle the logistics of working out what day you want each one. Your Monday. I kid you not, for a while, I had 7 different girls, and I called them by the day of the week rather than their name, because I was a dick. I would never do that again. But it was funny to go up to all my old AFC mates from before the game and say to them, "I'd like you to meet Wednesday." "No, you can't say that." Like, "Come here, Wednesday." It was really funny. but stupid and in the past. Anyway, so the point is, I've got abundance. Just by having the girls there, everyone assumes I'm a somebody. And how do I get the girls there? By not hitting on them. I'm the one guy that doesn't hit on them. True story, a lot of this is behind me now. I'm working on much better things. I'm doing a lot more theory. I've gone back to the basics to actually understand the psychology behind attraction. I'm very, very happy with my girlfriend. I'm completely exclusive for anyone that's wondering, because it's really annoying. Every seminar, people go up to her and go, so, how do you think about him gaming other girls? And she's like, he doesn't. Okay? And I'm like, well, that's what you think. No, I really don't. I'm completely exclusive with my girlfriend. I'm probably the happiest I've ever been. And last year, we went to Vegas for her birthday. And while we were there with all her female friends. Now, this is a true story. I say this every seminar, and I love saying it. I have seen all of her best friends pee. It's true. So we're out in Vegas with her friends, her, and a couple of other guys. And all the girls are getting changed in the bedroom. And it's just like out of a fantasy movie. They're pillow fighting with no tops on. Okay, there's no pillows, but they're putting their makeup on with no tops on. And that's true. So I could see their boobs, and that was wicked. No, they're all getting changed. They've got their boobs, and they're peeing. And I'm going in, and I walk into the bathroom. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I was just thinking. I start talking to one of the girls. She's like, I'm peeing. I'm like, did I talk about your peeing? I'm here to talk about this other thing. Listen. And I said, blah, 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 blah. And I keep talking to her. And she's like, okay. And so we're having a conversation. She's peeing. We're having a conversation. It's because I wasn't fazed by her peeing or her nakedness or her boobs. Because I've seen it so often, it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, we get a knock at the door. There's a dude at the door. Like, yeah, what do you want? We want to come in. You can't. We're all naked in here. Adam's in there. Adam doesn't count. That's a very powerful place to be. I know a lot of girls that have only slept with one guy before, and me, but I didn't count. The key point is you want to be the guy that doesn't count. I am every girl in my life's gay best friend who's straight. I get to go in changing rooms with them and help them sort out their clothes. Oh, it's all right, it's just Adam. Slap her bum. It's so funny. It's just Adam, it doesn't matter. What am I doing? Sexually escalating. Why can I get away with it? Because I'm not trying to sleep with her. She goes, you're just doing that because you want to sleep with me. If I wanted to sleep with you, I'd have done it by now. I don't like you like that. You think I'd come in a changing room with you if I wanted to sleep with you? I was just taking you back to my place. I'm here to do some shopping. But you had a slappable bum, so it needed to be slapped to test the slappability of it compared to the other girls whose bums I've slapped recently. And that's the thing. You become this funny, friendly kind of guy who can get away with a lot more. And you can get away with it because if she thinks I've slapped the bums of a billion other girls, then that's just who I am. It's okay because it's just Adam. How does she know that I've slapped the bums of other girls? She's seen me do it. How has she seen me do it? Because I invite her out with her friends and my other female friends to the same place. They all meet each other. They know each other. I have so many people say to me, Adam, how do you manage multiple long-term relationships? I kid you not. I once managed 14 girls at once. I'm like, that's a logistical nightmare. It's absolutely impossible. How could you do that? Well, it was easy. They knew about each other. There was no lying or hiding. I was like, babe, I can't see you tonight. I've got Jane coming over at 4, but like 7? Does that work? So 7, all right, that'll do. You're such a player. It's okay, because I don't lie to any of them about it. They know who I am, and because of my abundance, if everyone else accepts it, they accept it. I'm running low on time, I've been warned, so I'm going to have to move on to sexual escalation. I could talk about this for ages, and I'm really sorry I can't. I love stuff like this. So I'm going to move on to sexual escalation, and it literally is a fact of what you do and what others see you do, you can get away with. But there is a difference between good sexual escalation and bad sexual escalation. And it's the same thing about the toilet and the people coming in there. It's a matter of how much value you give it. When I walked in on the girl that was peeing, I gave it no value whatsoever. I am now going to do a live demonstration for you of good keno and bad keno. Can I have a volunteer, please? Oh, that's even better. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll keep going till tape, and then after that, we'll do question and answer session. So everyone, come round of applause for Ujal here. It's up to you. All right, that was my gangster Miami greet. That's a secret Miami handshake. Everyone from Miami, they knew what was going on. Everyone else, you guys didn't. So, I'm lying. So I'm going to show you good keno and bad keno. Here we have a PUA. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to show him, this is good keno, okay? All I did there was I gave it no value whatsoever. Notice how I didn't look at the point I was touching. I just tapped him. Probably hasn't even realized that what I did was touch his breast. This does work on girls. So, now I'm going to completely freak him out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do exactly the same motion. I'm going to touch you in the same place, but I'm now going to give it meaning. I'm going to give it value. I'm going to show that I care about it. Watch. All you've got to do is tell me as soon as you feel a little bit of uncomfortability. As soon as you get a little bit uncomfortable, let us know. How weird is that, right? You guys see that, yeah? Okay, but look, I can get away with it afterwards because I didn't care about it. And when I used to run routine games, because every PUA starts with routine game. Anyone that used to do routine game now got natural mode. You just need natural, don't worry about routine game. Remember, you started with routine game as well. Most people start with it. Don't hate on it. And I'm just gonna be completely honest, like I did. And I had a whole boob touching routine. It was really funny. And it used to go like this. I'd be, you're so funny. I'd do a physical breaking rapport. Now I'd do it to try and get her to fight. I go, what? You're gonna take that from me? You're gonna take me pushing you? You push over. Push me back. That's not how you push somebody. If you push somebody, you have to do it like this. Go for it. Well, that's not how you touch someone's breast, is it? No. It's more of a cupping motion. Give it a go. No, like this. Okay? Okay, thank you, guys. Round of applause. So it's amazing what you can get away with if you don't give it value. And you can take this right through to the F-close. Now, there's a bit of a routine that I do on some of my talks that I haven't done for a while, so I'm going to do it for you guys. And it's about how you bypass LMR. Okay, so we're going to talk very, very quickly, and then we'll do the changing of the tapes, because I wouldn't want to interfere with that. So, bypassing LMR. It's a true story. I'm in a club with a girl. What you will notice throughout this story is, one, I will speak incredibly fast. I'll do it because it's fun. Two, you'll notice that throughout the story, I give the girl no value, nor do I ever explain what's going on. I'm constantly sexually escalating without telling her that's what I'm doing, so I never give the game away. That's important. That way, if she ever tries to call me out on it, I can just keep plowing through it. So I meet this girl in the club, we're dancing, we're vibing, everything's going good, and I say, you know what, I'm going home, and we both go back to the check-in to get our coats and everything, and I take off my 2 motorcycle helmets. I have a Vespa in London, which I sold, and it's very depressing, but I used to have 2 helmets for it. And when I went clubbing, I brought 2 helmets with me. Who knows why I brought 2 helmets with me? Yes. Logistics. Because if I didn't plan on how I was going to take someone home, how would I do it? It's illegal in England to take a girl on your bike without a helmet. If I didn't bring 2 helmets, I would be screwed. I would have no way of getting the girl home. So every night I went out, I took 2 helmets with me. And every night I went back and I had somebody else to carry the other one for me. Other logistics, I didn't really have somewhere for the second helmet. So I needed someone to bring it back with me, but that's beside the point. So we're sitting in the thing, I take my 2 helmets, I make no motion whatsoever to take her home. I know that my bike is a DHV. I take my 2 helmets, she's like, oh, God, what's the other helmet for? I'm like, well, it's for my friend. I gave him a lift into town, and now I've got to take the other one back, which is really heavy on the bike and quite annoying. She's like, could you give me a lift home? Now, am I buying into her frame at this point? Hell no. I'm not going to give you a lift home. I don't even know where you live. She's like, I live at blah, 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 blah. It's not that far. I'm still not going to do it. I'm tired, and I can't be bothered. She says, oh, no, come on, give me a lift home. Please give me a lift home. Come on, it'll be so much fun. Well, I did want to take you on my bike, but no, that's just so annoying. There's no way I'm going to give you a lift home. Please give me a lift home. Please, come on, give me a lift home. A real man would give me a lift home. Fine, I'll give you a lift home. I give her the other helmet. She takes the other helmet, and off we go. We get on the bike. Am I buying into her frame? Wait and see. We get on the bike, turn the bike on, she's on the back, off we go. We start driving. We're going down the roads. We're speeding along, and we pull up outside my house. She says, what are we doing here? I thought you said you were going to take me home. I am, in the morning. I told you I was tired. This is a compromise. So we go back to my house, we get into my house, and she's like, I don't know how I feel about this. I was like, you don't have much choice. It's okay, I'm a gentleman. I never sleep with a girl on the first night. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a bed on the couch because I'm a gentleman, and I'm going to give you my bed. I have a big double bed, and it's very comfortable. You can sleep in that room and shut the door. There's a lock on the inside, so I can't get in there, and I'll stay on this couch, and there's a lock on this side as well, so you can't come and touch me because I wouldn't want that because I want to sleep because I'm tired. So I make a bed on my couch and give her no interest whatsoever, and I make her a bed. I go into the room, and I tuck her in. It's a very nice, gentle little thing to do, and I lie down next to her, and we start talking. We continue the conversation, and the night continues. As we're talking, she says, you're only in here because you want to sleep with me. I'm like, you don't listen too well, do you? I told you I don't sleep with a girl on the first night, and I'm not making an exception for you. However, that doesn't mean I'm not going to keep teasing you. At this point, we continue kissing, and I start touching her up, start slowly rubbing her belly, biting her neck, and doing everything to slowly turn her on. She looks at me and says, you're just trying to turn me on so you can sleep with me. I told you I never ever sleep with a girl on the first night, but I am going to continue to tease you and turn you on. I start arousing her and stroking her, getting her even hornier. At this point, I start to slip my hand inside, and I start bringing her off. At this point, I'm building her up to orgasm. Oh my God, that feels so good, that feels so good, that feels so good. I bring it up, right up to the point of orgasm, and stop. She looks at me and says, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't think I said you were going to orgasm. I seem to definitely remember telling you I was going to tease you. She's like, that's not fair. I'm like, tough, I couldn't care less. If I'm not getting it, you're not getting it. So I keep turning on again. Oh, I feel so good. She's like, come on, you know, you have to let me have an orgasm. No way. I never sleep with a girl on the first night. At this point, she thinks cleverly, how can she get me back? She knows the perfect thing to do. She grabs my trousers and tries to rip them off me. No, get off, woman, don't take my trousers off. No, I'm gonna take, no, don't do it, don't do it. Okay, fine. So she takes off the trousers. At this point, she starts to go down on me. I'm like, no, gosh. Now, you will be tempted at this point to give in and have an orgasm. If you want to, fair enough, better not to. So don't do it. She's like, I've got you now. No, I've got you. You build her up to orgasm. She builds you up to orgasm. You stop. And she's like, oh, I'm really going to get you now. She gives you the best head of your life to prove to you that she's going to make you come. No, don't do it. Don't give me the best head of my life. She keeps trying. You keep forcing her off. And then at that point, she's like, oh, come on, please. I have to have you inside me. You're like, no, I'm not going to do it. I never sleep with a girl on the first night. It's a rule, and I never break it. She thinks about it. She goes, aren't rules meant to be broken? You go, okay. So true story. For anyone that doesn't, the questioning, anyone that's got further stuff, like I said, if you go to afcadam.com, there's a whole bunch of new stuff that I'm updating. There'll be like, there's options to go onto like a forum that isn't there yet, but it will be. It actually is there, but it's secretly hidden. Anyone that can find it, you're welcome to join. But it will be made a bit more of a feature of, and you can ask questions there. I do lots of regular writing. Many of you may or may not know. I'm a regular columnist for askmen.com. I do all of their help stuff for the UK. You can actually find that on my website. I've just started doing a radio show with Thundercat on Thundercat Seduction Lair. If you guys want to check it out, it's like 2 hours long. It's some of the funniest stuff ever. We were filming this, recording it earlier on, and it really is hysterical because Thundercat knows all the community guys, so we're talking about that. I write for Pickup Podcast as well. I write for my own site. There's a couple of forums on the internet that I write for, as well as the PUA training stuff. All this stuff is free. Don't pay for material. Be geeks and download it for free. It's better. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we'll do the Q&A stuff for anybody that's interested. Anyone's got a question, raise your hand. Yes, you. I saw you first. This dude here with the super cool looking hair. I wish I had hair like that.
When you're sexually escalating with a girl,
yes.
How do you let her know that you don't want to sleep with her? I mean, isn't that kind of counterintuitive?
Well, I tell her while touching her up. It's amazing. It's very counterintuitive. If you turn around somebody and you say to them, okay, like for example, I've got a very, very quick thing. Can I just grab you very quickly? I don't even know your name. What's your name? Will. Will, come here, Will, very quickly. I want to show you something. It's basically a form of disqualification. So you're sexually escalating using disqualification. There's a very simple kiss close routine that everyone can find. I did a 60-second K close on the internet. Just come up here for a second. So I'm going to do my kiss close routine. I'm going to show you how to sexually escalate with a kiss close. It's okay, I'm not going to do it on you. You don't have to worry about it. See how powerful that is. Now he doesn't think I'm going to do it. Get it? Okay, thank you. See how it works? At that point, I could sexually escalate, but he's not thinking it's going to happen. So I could have got away with kissing him on the cheek and building it up. I could have probably got him to kiss me on the cheek and then twist my head and get a kiss. It's cheeky, but it's funny, and it's sexually escalating. Yeah? So you tell him you're not going to do it, but your body and everything's saying differently. It's the same as like when a girl's going, no, I don't want you, I don't want you, but she does. Yeah, it's the same thing. I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, no, I don't want you, get off me, stop giving me the best head of my life. It's the same thing. So what you're saying and what you're doing are very different. She picks up, women are really good at picking up on like our physical cues. So she's like, no, I know you do. Sin had exactly the same thing with the girl that he was talking about. It's the same thing. It's a very powerful tool. Girls use it all the time. HB10s will often tell you, I'm not going to sleep with you. But if their body's saying they are, they are. And it's the same thing. You're like, I'm not going to sleep with you, but I am. Okay? Cool. Next question. Awesome. You guys like psychic. Is that the only question? Yes, go for it. The dude over here with the cool t-shirt.
So when you're first starting out, can you talk a little bit about building up your social circle
Okay.
beyond just, say, a handful of people?
The best way of building it up, I'm going to give you two very, very quick ways of doing it. One, just invite all the girls out that you know and don't invite any guys. You may only end up with 2 girls, start with that. Then when you're out with those 2 girls, then game and meet other girls, and they go, oh, you guys are so awesome, you should totally come out with us next time, and invite them out to the next venue. That's one way of doing it. The cheating way, and the way I started, was I went to a nightclub, and I saw the hottest girls in there. I went up to them, and I said, hey, one of you guys can help me. I'm really good at sort of like picking up chicks. I like teach people how to do it. But I can never get chicks as hot as you guys. I always get like the mingers and the munters. And I'm wondering, I would like to learn how to get girls as hot as you. What I want to do is observe, as a psychological experiment, all the guys in the club hit on you. Do you mind if I hang with you and watch? And the girl's like, no, but that's cool. So I hung around with the girls, talking to them about being picked up, right? Then at the end of the first night, I said to him, listen, I'd like to do this again because it was really valuable for me to watch all these guys trying to hit on you and you guys blowing them out. I think that's really funny. While this is going on, do you mind if I come and hang with you, a few more times? And, I promise I won't hit on any of you guys. I won't use any of my super techniques that would guarantee to get me to sleep with you if I hang with you. And so we had a deal, me and these 12 stupidly hot party girls, that I wouldn't sleep with them if I could hang around with them. So what happened was after a year, I'd slept with about 4 of them. But the point is, by the time they're hanging around me, what happens is I'm going out clubbing with the hottest girls on the planet. Me and 12 hot girls. Every other female in there sees me with 12 hot girls and goes, wow, he's amazing, and they start hitting on me. The 12 hot girls look at me and go, you're right, you do know how to pick up chicks. They have no idea it's off the pre-selection that they're generating. And eventually they start competing for me. It's passive game. It's the best form of game. So yeah, that's another way of doing it. You just need a group of female friends to hang around with.
So I would assume that you'd then hang out with perhaps some of the coolest guys that would happen to be with the hottest girls.
Most of the guys don't hang with the girls. Okay. You'll be surprised about this, but most of the guys, they want to talk about football, and they want to go down to the pub, and they want to drink. So I'll go and hang out with their girls, going clubbing in expensive clubs.
So your social circle was mostly female?
Yeah, if you look at the hot groups of girls, look at photos on Facebook of hot girls, they just hang around other hot girls. They go out to clubs and they get millionaires to spend money on drinks. The amount of free drinks I've had because of girls. I had a guy, we had a joke, and we said, hey, would it be possible to get guys to give us money via the girls? So we said to the girls, I bet you can't convince those guys to pay for your cab fare home. Do you know what 10 times 15 is? Wow. Bloody good money for a night's work. All the girls go out and get $15 for a cab ride home. You end up with $150. And the girls give it to you because they managed to pull off the challenge, and you're like, oh, wicked. But if you get all of them to do it, it's amazing. It's seriously, turning the girls' power. I wanted to show you guys, there's so many other things you can use girls for. Like, you can use them to like AMOG. It's like the best form of AMOGing on the planet. I'll give you an example. I do this great demo. Who's like the biggest, scariest guy in here? We've got somebody big and scary. You're big and scary. You're not really, but you'll do. Just come here for a second. Who's the hottest girl in here that's male? Anybody? Yeah, you'll do. yeah, go on. I'll get this guy up. Are you stealing him? Okay, I'll steal the guy in the yellow shirt. Frankie, you've got a Frankie says relax. That's awesome. Okay.
A lot of girls wear this, actually.
Fair enough. I'm not going to judge. Awesome. Hopefully you've cleaned it since the last one wore it. Okay, so if you imagine, this is the big AMOG guy, right? And this is the girl. Now, imagine he's big and scary, and I'm like this tall. Like, I wouldn't want to mess with that. So, how can I get rid of him? Watch this. I need another girl. Can I take you again? Because you're awesome. Okay, so what I do is rather than having to deal with him directly, I can AMOG him completely by getting another hot girl, and I'll be talking to you. I'll be, hey, listen, hey, that's so cool. You're an awesome girl. I love the top you're wearing. It's wicked. Listen, can you do me a favor? That's my friend over there. And she's come out with another group of friends. We don't really know each other very well, but I know her friend. And she's dating a guy, and this guy here is hitting on her. And that's going to go down really well. She's had a bit to drink, so could you go in there and just flirt with him a bit, just to get him off of her, and then eventually, I'll get rid of her. And then what happens is you convince this girl to go in and talk to the guy. Now the guy's having the time of his life. He's never had 2 girls at once before. Oh, but look, see his body language, lock her out. Now she's pissed. Now she's like, what? Now you're going to ignore me because of some other girl? Sod you. So she walks off. Thanks very much. Just a round of applause. She walks off. I'll move in there. He's hitting on her. I'll come up and go, thanks ever so much for that. Really appreciate it. Oh, you're awesome. He's not interested in her whatsoever, so he leaves. And I'm off with her. Thank you very much. Cheers. Guys, round of applause. Cheers. Thank you. Okay? So by having the pre-selection of the other women, there's so much more you can do. And I wanted to do so much of this and show you guys, but I didn't have time. So, sorry, next question. Who's up next? Anyone? Yes. The microphone. It's got to travel. It's a traveling microphone. It's not a problem. They can just cut this bit out, or I can dance. It's up to you guys what you want to use. I don't care. Yes.
What's up, man? How do you commonly maintain your relationships with, I guess, your pivots? I
don't. That's the beauty of it. When there's that many, they message me. I had one girl write to me the other day, Adam, you haven't spoken to me for ages. So I ignored her because I was busy. And then she wrote to me again, Adam, you ignore me. You never have any time for me. I'm like, oh, babe, I am so sorry. I've been up to, you won't believe what I've been up to. I was out partying. I had to travel to this place, and then we did this work, and this is going on, these seminars. How are you anyway? I really didn't mean to ignore you. She's like, oh, thanks, he's talking to me again. It's amazing. They start chasing you. You lose the ability to actually stay in touch with them because there's so many others. And they understand you can't talk to them all. There's too many of them. It's so easy. Yeah.
All right, this is far ahead of what I need right now, but now that you're here, talked about the multiple long-term relationships and, when it just started, you have the first girl, you just got that first girl, and all right, this is the one I can start my little harem with.
I like this question. I'll tell you why. Because I decided that there were too many people in the community coming up with just so you guys know, I'm just going to come out. There are a lot of guys out there right now that are trying to steal my stuff. There's some great guys. who are awesome, like Sin, who are actually crediting me with, but I'm a big innovator. I love coming up with new stuff. The reason I got picked by Thundercat. And there are some guys, no names, who are actively trying to steal my stuff. So what I did was I decided that there's no way I can deal with this, right? There's no way I can stop these guys from doing it. So instead, I'm innovating even more. And I'm coming up with some new stuff that people haven't heard of, including an ebook that's about 20 pages long, give or take, that I worked with, and I got Johnny Saporno, you guys will know who he is. I got Johnny Saporno to read over it and give it his official authentication, specifically on multiple long-term relationships. And check it out. It's free. That's right. Free. Ah, in your face, everyone trying to steal my stuff. Free material. Ah, what are you going to do about that? Nothing. So I've just wrote a 17-page or 18-page ebook specifically on how to create and maintain multiple long-term relationships, and a video that accompanies it, and the whole thing's free off my website. It's going to be advertised like in the next couple of days or weeks. Some people have got it already because there's been glitches where like it comes up and you can download it. But I kid you not, if you check out afcadam.com, it will probably be on PUAtraining.com at some point as well. You'll be able to download a whole ebook that will tell you everything and videos of me talking and explaining how I do it. There you go. So that's probably the best way of doing it. There.
Could you talk a little bit about club game and maybe like dance floor game?
Yeah, of course. Right, dance floor game is exactly the same as normal game, but I didn't talk to you guys about normal games, so it's going to be very difficult to reference it. All we've got to think about is you don't have to dance, you have to get her to dance. Because the more she dances, the more she wants you. What happens is a girl, you guys, Sin spoke about attraction earlier, and he said, what is attraction? It's a feeling. But what causes attraction? And most people don't really know. Most people, if you ask them to explain what causes attraction, they haven't got a clue. I think that's investment. If you go onto his website, it'll explain it all. Unfortunately, I keep getting people swearing at me in the background. They're like showing me numbers and that I have to get off. But investment. It's the same with dancing. You want to get the girls to invest. So it's not about what you do, it's about what they do. I'll give you a story, true story. Went into a nightclub and there were these two guys and they were doing a dance routine and they were like, and they were doing all this like stuff and they were in time. There was two of them and they were sick and they were wicked. And I was with a natural guy of mine that loves telling me that I don't have any game, even though like I've slept with all his friends. Anyway, so they're like doing all this dancing and there's a circle of people around them and they're doing these wicked kick-ass moves and he goes, Adam, now that is dance floor game. That is dance floor game. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's not dance floor game, it's dancing. It's very different, dancing. It's like there's conversation, there's game and gaming, like it's dancing. I was like, I'm going to blow them both out. And he goes, what do you mean? So they're dancing in this circle, and I wait till they're finished, and they finish, and I go, hey guys, move out my way, move out my way. So now I am in the center. There's a big circle of people, they've just watched these two dancers doing some break dancing, and I stand there, and I kid you not, I bust out this move. I hope you're watching. And then I go, no, it's not going to work. I go, you, and I call 4 girls, and they start dancing around me. I'm like, dance! I went like this. And these 4 girls start going, and they're doing all their sexy dancing. Well, now the crowd is completely staring at them, right? The crowd's like, woo! And I'm just like, that's right, baby, pimp, what, yeah, So I'm giving it all this. These girls are dancing. The crowd starts to disperse as they get bored. Do you think the girls left? Oh, hell no, they stayed there dancing. I looked at my friend and went, dance floor game, baby! 4 girls! So it's not about what you do to impress other people, it's about what you get other people to do for you. And I used the social pressure of the crowd around me, knowing that if I pulled the girls into the circle, they would dance because of the pressure. So they invested. Anyway, so cool. Next story. Anybody? Perfect. I love it when I don't have any questions. That means you guys have all absolutely learned everything. As a very quick recap, seriously, go out and do it now. Like, you don't need to listen to any speakers. Just leave. Like, what you want to do is you want to make sure you've got confidence. You get confidence by practicing. Girls, run. You've got a head start. You have the chance to leave now before they start hitting on you. That's your confidence thing. Next, abundance. Don't try and hit on them. Just try and make friends with them. I promise you, my girlfriend is like the friendliest. She's run. The other girl has run. I kid you not, she's gone out the door. She's gone, oh, hell no. She's out of there. Like, I kid you not, guys. Get female friends and go out with them. If you find yourself out and there are more guys around you than girls, you're doing it wrong. Game, you're doing it wrong. Game, fail. I love those phrases. The internet, just Google them, they're really funny. So make sure that you're out there with girls. Finally, most importantly, make sure you're sexually escalating. Make it clear that you have no problem with hitting on girls, you have no problem doing it. Guys, I've been AFC Adam, you've been a great audience. Thank you ever so much.